Welcome to this video where I discuss the infiltration, how infiltration is computed, how do we handle the wetting and drying of soil layers, and I'm specifically going to talk about how that is dealt with in the Hydrologic Engineering Center program called HMS. And I'm going to be looking at one method or one model for doing so. So in this model, we're going to look at this sub-basin, and we're going to go look at the parameters for loss. And you can see that there are several different methods or models for computing loss, and we're going to look at deficit and constant in this case. So the parameters that it's looking for is initial deficit, maximum storage, and constant rate, or you can think of that as the percolation rate. You may hear it termed as that. And those are the parameters that we need to put in. So I wanted to go in and explain maybe the theory or the application of these parameters in the HMS model. So if we look at this presentation, we'll consider this to be a layer of soil, and right now it's empty. So the max storage capacity is whatever thickness that soil happens to be, which means that it has all of the capacity to store this rainwater. So if it rains, then part of this, or maybe all of it, will fill up. So the difference between the maximum storage capacity and what has been filled is called the deficit. So if we have a deficit of 0, it means that we have no storage capacity left, or that the soil is fully saturated. Now, what can happen in between an event where we have no rainfall is that the evapotranspiration process begins to take place, and so some of that water that got into the soil layer is being removed, which means that the level of the water now drops, which means that we now have a greater deficit. And that is one of the reasons why this can be used for what's called a continuous simulation, or simulation that spans multiple events, because it does allow for the recovery of the storage in between events. So as we start to get more rainfall, and if we get enough rainfall, then we will completely fill our soil layer, meaning that we have no storage left that's completely saturated. And we don't start getting this percolation out of the bottom of this layer until this is completely full and we are having rainfall. But once that occurs, we do get that, and that was that percolation rate, or that constant rate that we had put in. Now, if we're continuing to get rainfall, our storage capacity is completely full, but we're getting more rainfall than the percolation rate, then at that point, we're going to get runoff. And again, as we talked about evapotranspiration before, once the rainfall ends, then you'll begin to regain the storage capacity through that evapotranspiration process. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of knowledge into this process of infiltration. Also, maybe a little bit more knowledge about the parameters that are used in the deficit and constant loss method that's in HMS. So if you found this video to be helpful, please subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching this one.